Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's an example yesterday I saw of this woman who's been here. We might even play this clip. She's been here 20 years. She has 3 kids who were born here. Her kids are because of birthright citizenship, which is another subject that's coming up. And she's never bothered to even try to resolve her immigration status. Not in 20 years. She has never tried to resolve her immigration status. Not through Republican presidents, not through Democratic presidents, nothing. And so now, she's worried about being deported because they put out the sob story of this woman. Well, that's not the average person they're even looking at right now. The average person they're looking at crossed in the last 3 years are CNN is cutting jobs to embrace the digital future. No, because they're cutting jobs because, as I like to say, they suck. CNN is undergoing a significant restructuring, planning to lay off about 200 employees, which constitutes approximately 6% of its workforce. This move is part of a broader strategy under CEO Mark Thompson to pivot towards a digital-first approach, focusing on expanding digital subscriptions and reducing costs from traditional TV operations. Wait a minute. Didn't they already try the CNN subscription service, which failed miserably? Which, if you truly have compassion for trans kids, you would allow them to all go through puberty, because 90% of kids who think they're trans change their mind once they go through puberty. That puberty is the fix for most of the problems. But you guys want the medicalization of kids and sterilization of kids and medical and surgical altering of kids who can't make that decision at 12 years old or 13 years old. Diablo asks, why is it when I try to show empathy and concern, people always misconstrue it? Last time I asked someone if their mom at least got a good check from the clinic that botched the abortion. Oh! Oh, God. Damn it, AD. I think you just need to find a gentle way.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
I would be willing to bet everything I own that submitting a 22-minute video montage that shows the most egregious acts of violence you can find from that day, when the defendant in question is on that video for only 6 seconds and the scene walking calmly, is highly prejudicial and a violation of the defendant's due process rights. The person was found guilty and sentenced to 19 months in prison. Now, it took 2 hours to read through all of the documents that were in the case file. Every motion submitted by the defendant was denied. Every motion by the defendant was denied. How often does that happen? And every motion submitted by the government was granted. They turned a trespass misdemeanor that would have resulted in a $50 ticket into 5 misdemeanors and a felony charge by charging the defendant with a statute that would have required the Secret Service to rope off the section he was in, which they did not. They also charged him with a statute that would have been required them to prove Mike Pence was in the building at the time he walked through that corridor. He was not. And they used an Enron statute that the Supreme Court struck down. If you accept a pardon, you are admitting guilt. Period. That's the, because you can't be pardoned if you're not guilty.
Whether he can preemptive pardon, whether he can issue The president's reportedly asking his staff whether he can issue preemptive pardons for himself, his family members, Rudy Giuliani. There's a simple answer: no. No, Mr.
Oh,
that
you
would
can't?
Be a gross abuse
Oh,
of the presidential
it's a
pardon authority.
gross abuse. A presidential pardon authority. Well, there you go. You accepted a pardon, Adam Kinzinger. You think you may have committed a crime. Oh, here, Jamie Raskin. Dirty Q-tip. Dirty Q-tip, Jamie Raskin. What else? What did he have to say?
Well, the seeking of pardons is
Yes, it's only on
powerful
one side.
demonstration of the consciousness of guilt. Or at least the consciousness that you may be in trouble.
Jamie
And that's
Raskin.
what's so shocking
Did he
about
get a
this.
pardon also? Wasn't he on
Well,
that committee?
The seeking of pardons is...
He was on that committee. I'm curious if you're going to condemn that part. Are you going to condemn that pardon?
You know, Joe Biden pardoned a lot of people. Yeah, he should answer for that and explain.
Lots of murderers, lots of drug dealers, lots of people who killed people, commuted the sentence of a couple murderers. One who, in fact, one drug dealer who people died from taking the drugs that they sold them.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
The Obama Aniston rumors have gone wild. Rumors have emerged on social media that suggest Barack and Michelle Obama might be heading towards divorce, with speculators linking Barack Obama to actress Jennifer Aniston. Those rumors have gained traction following Michelle Obama's absence from Jimmy Carter's funeral and the inauguration, and are based on tabloid stories and social media speculation without solid confirmation from the individuals involved. So far, they're still rumors, and I don't know why people are perpetuating them, but it is kind of fun to perpetuate rumors like that. No one's come out to, out and out deny anything. That's the weird part.
We should just take a deep breath and acknowledge the audacity.
The audacity!
Of a president who's so clearly concerned about his own criminal culpability.
Oh my God, his own criminal culpability and his son's business dealings. I know that they're talking about Joe Biden, aren't they?
And that of his family members.
Like the boy asked, are cats really soul suckers? Yes. Yes. That's why I'm not into cats. Dogs, man. I'm a dog guy. Avocado Stably, is there an aisle in the grocery store that is less objectionable to have sex in? Where do you come up with this shit? Dude.
Has done something no person in the world has ever done before. A dead man, a dead politician has risen.
Yes.
Somebody who 4 years ago at Davos, he's buried, a dead.
And I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding Donald Trump's demise that has failed. I wonder how many people at Davos, again, let me say it again. I wonder how many people at Davos have been funding what they had hoped would be Trump's demise. I bet you there's a few of them there. And it didn't work, did it now? Didn't work now, did it?
Politically known to me. He's now returned. This is the greatest comeback in political history of a politician. And then, therefore, he thinks he can do anything.
Of the show every day on my show, if I put something on the screen or I'm talking about it or it's a topic or an article that I'm presenting in this show, I provide links to every single thing that I've talked about, and even more, the ones I didn't even get to. I drop them in the chat at the end of the show, and also I drop them in the description. So if you want to find these articles, they will be in the links at the end of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Oh, all right. Sounding like, what's that guy, Matthew McConaughey? All right. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight. On the internet, welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where, you know, the big, beautiful bill, it passed, I guess, in the middle of the night, just like so many of the spending bills have in the last 30 years. And, you know, I told you yesterday, I'm not thrilled with it. In fact, I'm not necessarily a fan of it because, you know, I want them to stop spending. It's funny because Ross Perot's trending today, and I wanted to go full Ross Perot on these motherfuckers, but no, they didn't do it. But you just gotta pray that some of the things that they expect as far as growth and whatnot come to fruition. And you know, can we grow our way out of this and maybe make it not so bad? Make it not so bad. But I guarantee you. Let me tell you something. I guarantee you, it would have been way worse with a different administration and a different Congress and Senate. Because those motherfuckers, they just gonna spend, and they probably tax you to death, whatnot. I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see. It made it through by the terror of its chinny chin chin. We'll get into that and much more, including a thank you, Gunfox61, dropping Hamilton in the tip jar. You are the Streamlabs superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping Hamilton in the tip jar, dropped an article. We'll get to that soon. But let's say hi to everybody and get this damn thing going because I'm late for a very important date again. Because, you know, I can't help. I get off work when I get off work, you know, and that's how it works. So first in the chat today, again, oh my goodness, Kara Soldier doing that thing. Woo! Wow. Yeah, you beat AD, what, 3 days in a row? Or is it 2 days? I don't know. But AD's still here bright and early. Of course, Advocatus Diablo's in the chat. Also, the Pope Tyrannius III, the Blessed Lich is here. Good morning. And as you, I guess right next to Advocatus Diablo, who says, blessing of the divine dead be upon of his children. Let us rejoice. Let the rejoice, for today was made just for you. Okay. Thank you, Pope. Those kind and very inspiring words. Also, good morning, JB. What up? Good morning, Resolute Germ. Blue-Eyed Scream. What up? And Somnambule Nation. Darren Roots in the house. Bookworm Addict, howdy. Wait, where's Heaven here? Where's this? Oh, it must be farther down. Anyway, who else? I said Darren. Oh, Now What Studios, my dear friend Woo from high school. Good morning and happy Independence Day, Pete. I'm grateful for all those who plan, support, pray, and fight for this 249-year-old experiment in liberty and justice for all. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Also, good morning, Reaction Puerto Rico is in the house, and Attack Alpaca, I see. And also somebody, where is it at? On the special edition and not special edition, honorable mention list of my favorite Canadians. Special Can Acid is here. And Gunfox61 already dropping Hamilton's like a musical with lots of people of color. And then, is that everybody so far? Oh, Old Guy Gamer. Welcome back. It's been a while. It's been a while. What song is that starts, it's been a while? I can't think of the song. I know there's a song there somewhere. Anyway, they tried. Oh, there we go. Another, Advocatus Diablo with the very pertinent question, dropping a small bullet in the tip jar that says, were you just singing a Dido song? Maybe. Which one are you talking about? I'm not sure which song you're talking about. What up, Woodcutter? Woodcutter in the house. What do you mean, okay, boomer? I resemble that remark. What song was I singing? Was I singing that, I want to thank you. That song? I think I was. Okay. The not so bad song. Yeah, I was somehow. I don't know how I got that to that. But hey, what was the song I was thinking of though? It's been a while since I could hold my head up. Yeah, that's that song. That you knew the song I was talking about. I should give you credit, JB. All right. Oh, old guy gamer. Been a while, but I'm retired now. Oh, that had nothing to do with it's been a while, but there you go. Okay. Oh, whoa. Wait a minute, JB. Oh, you were having a good morning. Anyway, all right. Should we get into the show? Because I do got a lot of tabs open that I will share with you at the end of the show. Real quick, thanks to the people who have. Speaking of sharing the show, though, did I say share? I said share. So it's. I guess what I meant was. Well, I don't know what I meant. Who cares? There. Let's say thank you to the people who have shared the show, so to speak. It is. Oh my goodness, there's some good ones here. Oh, what is that? I can't remember that dude's name. Hang on. All right. So anyway, thank you. Here, let's get. I guess you can see what the hell I'm talking about. This guy at one point he was Avalanche. What was he called when he was this guy though? I mean, it was really dumb. It was a really dumb bit on the WWF. But anyway, thank you, Resolute Germ, with the Let's Go, and we'll retweet, post that because, that's what I do. And then also Somnambule Nation, of course, tweeted out the show on their own. I appreciate that too. Ty Alexander with the daily woo from Ric Flair. Yep, there we go. Woo. And then what is this? Uncle Frank wants you to share the stream. Hell yeah. Thank you, Somnambule Nation, who has changed their handle to Lincoln Description. Very, very clever. On X, the app formerly known as Twitter. Also, JB with the big Let's Go and then more samurai movies because that's kind of your thing. And then, let's see, sharing the stream, Reaction Puerto Rico, and Somnambule Nation, and Tyre Alexander, you changed your name to Midnight Lich? That's new. Okay, and Resolute Germ. And then we got the just the little clappity from that guy. I can't remember why. Oh, I see, because I had the dude from, what's that show where the kid from Notre Dame walked on, and Rudy, the what's his name playing Rudy's kind of so-called mentor. Oh, I don't want to quote it. What the hell am I doing? So yeah, it's just a general clapping thing there. Hello, Hoko Sports. What's up? Did I say hi to Woodcutter? I did, because you said boomer. You called me a boomer. That's funny. I guess I am the last boomer, though. I keep telling you that, right? I'm the last boomer. So, all right. Should we talk about stuff besides me just yapping at y'all? That'd be a good idea. Now, what is this? Why did what the hell? Oh, this was when I was talking about Hakeem Jeffries. We'll get to that in a minute. It is Independence Day weekend, and there's been a lot of people who are just bitching about the 4th of July and Independence Day because they just feel like, oh, Donald Trump's in office. I have to hate everything about the country, and you all maggots and mammoths, motherfuckers, and a lot of people bitching and moaning about Independence Day. And you would think, because Independence Day is the original No King's Day, you would think it'd be like, yeah, let's go. But which of course there are going to be protests tomorrow, just so you know. And so I was kind of hoping. Well, I was kind of hoping to go out and interview people at protests, but I thought I'm going to spend more time with my family instead. But this is this meme right here, though. I chuckled at slightly. Okay, I chuckled at this one slightly. It's finally July. Yeah, I'm not going to describe. It's just, it's just a meme, but it's and look, let me just point out something about this meme. I don't mean to imply that violence should be enacted towards anyone of any persuasions. In fact, there are plenty of people of the persuasion the persuasions that I like. There are some good people out there. It's just the month that they give them is just annoying and sometimes kind of gross if you happen to hit one of the parades or something. So anyway, yeah, and in fact, a lot of people of the persuasion don't even like it anymore. They're like, we don't need this shit. This is embarrassing for us. So anyway, oh, wow, there's a whole lot more notifications. What's going on here? Hang on a second. What is going on? Is that true? There's 9 more? 10 more? What the bloody hell? Okay, here, let's, Gunfox. Yeah, I got that article. And then, let's see there. Okay, we're good. There's just, yeah, Gunfox. You already dropped that one in the, drop. I already got it in line. So there you go. All right, never mind. Anyway, so Independence Day, some people are happy about it, but there's a lot of people pissed off. Anyway, here's one. Good morning, Patriots. Tomorrow is the day we as Americans celebrate our independence from British rule and become our own nation. The time has come for another Independence Day when we can celebrate our freedom from socialists, Marxists, Muslims, and Democrats. Oh my God. You're just throwing salt in the wound of that big bill. Oh yes, I know it's a backup link. I got you. Anyway, but there are some people, and then this meme, thank you for always, not you, putting our country first. No comment. Now here's one. Here's a liberal guy. Can't figure out why Independence Day is a bigger deal than Juneteenth. Still bothers me that y'all ignore Juneteenth but go all in for the 4th. Okay, on this particular platform, I didn't ignore Juneteenth. I just find it as a very historical fact that we can celebrate and still think about freedoms for Americans, but it's not Independence Day. It's just not. Independence Day is the day the country was said F you to the king guy. So there you go. Calling 911 on the 4th of July. No, people are setting off fireworks debris landing in my yard. My wife is too upset to sleep. My cat is upset and hiding. Yes, people just set their house on fire. Body parts are landing in my yard. My wife won't wake up. The cat is shooting back. That's a funny meme for the 4th of July. Even though it's tomorrow. I mean, we'll talk about it again tomorrow. Good morning here. Scared to, okay, it's safe. Okay, so, oh no, a daddy's home 4th of July t-shirt. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm never going to call Trump daddy. And I'm probably not going to wear a hat that says Trump on it, but I still support the man. I have this thing. I don't necessarily need to wear the name of another man on my head. You know what I mean? I'm one of those people. I don't wear jerseys of other people too. I'm not a jersey person. I'm not a hat person. I still, like, for example, I support the Vikings, but I've never wore a Adrian Peterson jersey or a Randy Moss jersey. I just don't do that. I'll put my name on my back. You know what I mean? Hello, Banks. What's up, Banks? How you doing? You're in Louisiana, right? Is it hot as F down there? Sure it is. Or you're in Louisiana. I saw you posted something on Facebook, and I'm like, yeah, you're in Louisiana, I think. Anyway, it's hot as hell down there. You do wear rock band shirts. Yes, I do wear rock band shirts. Generally, ones that I've seen, although I never saw AC/DC, but someone gave me the shirt anywhere. Yeah, I wear wait, hold on. I forgot. There is one that I do wear with great pride. Good morning, Miss Wild Wolf. And that would be none other than Mr. Bob Ross. Yes, I will wear a shirt with Bob Ross on it. Just because, how can you not wear a Bob Ross shirt? All right. By the way, I was in Oh My God, Nebraska the other day, last weekend, and went down for a funeral of a friend of mine's dad who we all know and loves, and he was a good man, and he was a superintendent at Omaha schools for a long time and whatnot. And it was, first of all, I forgot how humid it is in Omaha in the summer, because it was the same temperature as it was here. Like, it was like 80 something degrees, 80 plus. you know, which is warm here. I mean, but down there it's warm too. Except there's like 900% humidity out there. I felt like I was swimming and sweating at the same time. And but that wasn't my point about Omaha. This was interesting. So I was at a bar with some of my friends from Omaha, right? And my wife calls me, and so I had my phone and I had it on my gimbal. You know, I was like this camera gimbal thing, and I had it on there because I was using it to take some video and pictures. But I walked out and it was still on there, and I was talking to my wife on the phone, on a speakerphone, right? And I'm standing outside the bar, and this woman like walks by me with her dog, and she looks at me, and I'm obviously talking on my phone, okay? I'm obviously speaking to somebody on the phone, and this woman walks by me and she goes, "I do not consent to take video of me. Are you taking video of me? I do not consent to you taking video of me." And I'm like, "What? I do not consent to you take video of me. Delete what you just took." And I looked at her and I go, "Well, I'm not taking video. I'm talking to my wife on the phone. Can't you hear me talking? I don't care. I do not consent to you taking video of me." And then I kind of looked around and I'm like, "Where am I? Oh, I'm on a public sidewalk and you're on a public sidewalk." And I said to her, "Look, I'm not taking video, but if I were, you're on a public sidewalk. You have no expectations of privacy while you're walking on a public sidewalk. If I took video of you, I took video of you, and you can shut the fuck up. I do not consent." And as she's walking, she's still yelling at me like, "Well," I'm like, "Biatch, I'm not taking video. I'm talking to my wife." My wife's listening to this. She's like, "What the hell is that about?" I was like, some dumbass thinks I was taking video of her. I'm on a public sidewalk though. Shut the hell up. If you see someone with a camera and you're on a public sidewalk, walk across the street then. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, which reminds me, y'all saw my video. Oh, you saw that already. Never mind. PDawg meets a Karen with a dog. That's exactly what it was. Some Karen with a dog. Anyway, daily reminder that the U.S. became the land of the free because regular citizens had military-grade weapons. Okay, and then there's one for Avocados Diabli. I've got to be careful scrolling. This flag is 70 by 140 feet. The world's largest free-flying American flag. Okay, I just got to see this shit.
And each stripe is over 5
feet
feet
high. I got to take got to get rid of the music. What the hell? It's weighs 250 pounds. It's approximately 4 times the size of an average U.S. home. Let me look at the size of the friggin' flagpole. Good God. That must be a Camping World store, I'm sure. Have you ever seen, y'all familiar with Camping World? And their giant ass flags they put outside of Camping World? It's kind of wild. All right, enough of I'm rambling again. All right, back to the show. Let's see. So Independence Day and 4th of July are trending. Oh, here's a good example. Jeff Mead here has a video of this person bitching about celebrating the 4th of July. Let's watch this video. We're gonna watch some videos today, by the way, just so you know. All right, here's Jeffrey Mead and dealing with one of these people.
If I see a single one of you bitches celebrating the 4th of July like it's normal this year, we're gonna have a fucking problem.
That's like the lady walking down the street and said, "Don't film me." Fuck you. I'm gonna celebrate the 4th of July. Look, I'm not even gonna let him talk. I'll leave a link to this video. Let me give him my own 2 cents on this nonsense, because there's a whole lot of this on the internet right now. Oh, good morning, Jaeger Pony, my favorite Canadians in the house. There's a lot of this nonsense going on about, if you're going to celebrate the 4th of July, fuck you. There's so many bad things going on in the world, blah, 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 right? And I was thinking about this as I was on my way home today. And I was thinking to myself, that's a joke that I got from Now At Studios, because she used to say that all the time. Anyway, I was saying to myself, I will be celebrating the 4th of July this year. And if you're one of those people who say, hey, I'm not going to celebrate the 4th of July, you know what's happening, this world is great, and so, yeah, I'm here, that good for you. is what I think. Good for you. If you don't want to celebrate the 4th of July, you know what the beauty of this country is? You don't have to. Because if there's like an Independence Day in North Korea and you said, I'm not going to celebrate North Korea Independence Day, you'd probably be shot in the street or put in a dungeon. So great. If you don't want to celebrate this 4th of July, don't. I will be with my family enjoying some Ambassador hot dogs and, you know, hanging out by the pool and, you know, all the stuff that you do on the 4th of July. I might even enjoy the fireworks. But that's the beauty of this country. You don't have to do anything you don't want to, and, you know, except for pay taxes, because, you know, they'll come after your ass. But anyway, and return your library books eventually. But no, you just, if you don't want to celebrate, don't celebrate. I don't care. You don't even have to fucking announce it. Just, you know what? Wait, I got some advice. I'm going to play it again because I'm a self-promoting, you know, weirdo. But here, hang on. I'm going to get, here's my advice to people who think they need to tell us that they are not celebrating the 4th of July. As soon as I find it, here we go. Here it is. It's right here. Here's some great advice for someone who feels like they need to tell me that they're not celebrating the 4th of July. Right here, right here. Right there.
You know, while I'm stuck here in traffic, I thought I would share one of the great life lessons that I've learned in my ever-advancing years. If you take your top lip and you connect it to your bottom lip, you will shut the fuck up.
Yes.
And sometimes you need to shut the fuck up.
'Cause nobody cares.
You're welcome.
All right, there you go. That is some sound advice from the large one that is me. There you go. So, all right, let's move on because, again, Saratoga's trending. Oh, I guess apparently there's some big horse race on the 4th of July at Saratoga. I'm not really familiar with it, but that's why it's trending. So lots of people are showing pictures of this horse track. And I didn't know there was a big horse race on the 4th of July at Saratoga. So... but lots of people talking about it. So if you're interested, there you go. There's a big horse race today. Moving on. What else is trending? Oh, happy birthday, Kelly. Now, I do have to be careful because this is not a celebrity birthday well, is it or isn't it? Okay, I'm going to show you the first. I can only show you one of them though. So apparently Tim Burchett, he's the congressman from somewhere, he's saying happy birthday to his wife, Kelly. And lots of people are saying happy birthday, Kelly. Now, I can't scroll on this one at all, though, because there's somebody that I have never heard of. And her name is Kelly. What is it? Kelly Divine? And you can imagine some of the photos they're putting up of her. So if you want to, the tab will be in the links. I forgot to tab. And if you want to see those, yeah, I'm just not going to show them on the internet because, you know. Anyway, all right, moving on. I don't know who, I had never heard of Kelly Divine. I'm not a connoisseur of that kind of stuff. Now, there is some news that's, I got to be a little more serious about. Apparently, I don't know if it was this morning or late last night, but the people just started talking about it in about an hour ago. And this is sad. In Chicago, there was a mass pew-pew event. Four people ended, 2 men and 2 women, 14 others were wounded, including 3 who were hospitalized in critical condition. The carnage erupted in the River North neighborhood on the 300 block of West Chicago Avenue when a vehicle pulled up to a location and at least one gunman opened fire on a crowd standing outside. So that's terrible, man. There's some ugly footage of it. 18 people shot in River North Drive. Brings to 24 the number of mass shootings this year, while the mayor brags about murders being down to the fact Chicago again leads the nation in murders with 201 murders, 83 children shot, 14 killed in mass shootings. Now, apparently, did Brandon say something about this 80 people shot? The numbers are good. Oh, here's and Brandon Johnson will blame this on divestment and lack of summer jobs in the area. Here's Brandon Johnson. This is not from about this incident, but
you all know good and well if the numbers were going in a different direction, y'all would be asking me all kind of questions. about what is it that I'm doing that's not working. We're doing the things that work. And I'm not saying that you can't ask about this. I know it's being debated. I'm just simply saying that, my goodness, you all, Chicago, we have suffered for decades in this city around violence.
Okay, look, let me just, I got to preface this, or not preface because it's already too late. Hello, Jesse. Jesse Leon, what's up? Nice to have you back. So let me just say one interesting fact, though, that this is a fact that crime in general has been dropping for the last 30 years, kind of steadily for the last 30 years. And a majority of it is because just for some reason, this current generation necessarily isn't as big on crime yet. They will eventually. But also I think some of it is reporting crime or recording crime also has lessened some. Like, I think that's part of it in the recent years, because you see it's crime everywhere, but maybe it's just because we're on the internet and they have things like social media that when there are crimes, you see them all the time. But statistically, crime has lowered. So, but still, you know, this is the kind of thing that Brandon Johnson will say. Breaking River North nightclub shooting, 4 dead, 18 wounded. Drive-by shooting outside Chicago Artist Lounge, left 4 people dead Wednesday night. This is the second shooting at the venue since 2022. Will media have a frenzy since it's queer-owned by 2 minority owners? Oh boy, there you go. And they're investigating the scene. So anyway, that's the breaking news this morning of a big Pew Pew event in Chicago last night. Also in the news, CBS has decided to settle the lawsuit Donald Trump had against them. They're going to fork over $16 million over the edited Harris 60 Minutes video. CBS News parent company Paramount agreed to pay $16 million to President Donald Trump on Tuesday to settle his lawsuit relating to the editing of a 60 Minutes interview with former Vice President Kamala Harris. Paramount, its payment minus the legal fees, will be paid to Trump's future presidential library, and agreed to release the written transcript of future 60 Minutes interviews with presidential candidates, the New York Times reported. The settlement did not include an apology. Well, I would have held out for the apology because they really did. I mean, look, they edited that video to make her sound better. And, you know, people like to complain, oh, she lost because she's a woman and she's black-ish. But no, she lost because she was more of the same of the Biden administration, same handlers, same bullshit, couldn't even think of something that they would have done differently. And I think that's way more the reason she lost. It had nothing to do with her being a black woman, which people are constantly complaining. See, oh, she only lost because she's a black woman. No, she lost because she's mush mouth and more of the same from the administration that she was a part of. And people wanted change. And Donald Trump, woo, big change, right? Anyway, so let's see. The FCC released the full video transcript of the 60 Minutes interview, which was found to be over twice as long as the version released to the public. And it's not unusual they edit interviews. It's just they edit a different answer to what she actually said as her answer to the question. So, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Maybe it's like they're being held accountable, or they're holding themselves accountable. Maybe they just didn't want to actually go to trial on this one because they could not deny what they did. It was, you know, you've seen both versions of the video. All right, next. And by the way, it is FTG Thursday. How about an FTG CBS? There we go. FTG CBS. What else should I FTG? Have we gotten that far? FTG Brandon Johnson. FTG Brandon Johnson. So there you go. Next FTG will be easy because Diddy's trending. And we kind of, this morning we got to the verdict and stuff. Or yesterday, and we talked about the verdict, and the more I think about it, the more effed up it is, man. What did they do wrong? Lots of people are talking about this. Viva Fry was talking with Megyn Kelly. Let's see what Viva Fry says. Let's check out Viva Fry here, what he was saying about it. We saw Megyn yesterday. And actually, the only reason I was scrolling and I saw this clip, and there's only one reason why I put this on here, right? Who can tell me the reason why I decided to watch this clip as I scrolled quickly through the Diddy stuff? Anybody? You all know why. Yes, AD! Exactly. I did this for you. Okay.
You have this entire blackmail extortion.
No, not boobs. Avocados Diablo loves Megyn Kelly. That's why.
Ring. They went and raided Diddy's house. There were cameras there. We know that it involves, the higher ups in the entertainment industry, if not the world of politics as well. And this entire prosecution is reduced to P. Diddy and what we know of his abuse of Cassie and potentially Jane. And then once you flesh out the fact that for whatever the reason, Maureen Comey, James Comey's daughter, is still involved as one of this trial. This trial is a show trial.
Yes, it was.
They're going to get him on something. It might just be the, trafficking for prostitution purposes, which
I hope
seems
the judge
undeniable.
gives him all 20
Send
years.
him away for 10 years. Maybe he gets out after 8. And then you've successfully covered up the entire extortion ring that P. Diddy was running, much like what they did with Epstein.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah. There are a lot of powerful people involved. LeBron James and other people, Will Smith and all these people that are big Hollywood peoples. There's some white guys in there too. But you know what? This is FTG Diddy, first of all. FTG Diddy. I mean, fuck that guy. I hope the judge gives him all 20 years, but he might have something on the judge too. I don't know. Anyway, a couple articles about this. Diddy verdict, rapper found not guilty on RICO trafficking charges, guilty on lesser counts. The verdict has been reached. We talked about this yesterday. We showed the counts. We already know this. But here's an interesting part of this article where they go to untouchable. The trial included at times, jurors began deliberating on Monday after the judge read them nearly 3 hours of instructions on how to apply the mountain of evidence and testimony in the case to the law. The trial included at times disturbing testimony with thousands of pages of phone and financial and audiovisual records. I mean, they had this motherfucker dead to rights. How did they get not guilty on the sex trafficking charges, even of just Cassidy herself? Anyway, he was charged with sex trafficking 2 women, singer Cassandra Ventura and a woman who testified under the pseudonym Jane. Both were in long-term relationship with the entrepreneur and hip-hop powerhouse, and they each testified about abuse, threats, and coercive sex in wrenching detail. I fear for those poor women's lives, too. By the way, a lot of people online somehow found a way to tie this to Trump, and it's just fucking ridiculous. The TDS out there right now is insane. But anyway, they both said they felt obliged to participate in Combs' directed sexual marathons with hired men. Combs' lawyers insisted the sex was consensual. They conceded domestic violence was a feature of his relationship, which it's funny. They didn't get him on him beating the shit out of her. That's the other part. I mean, why wasn't that one of the charges? The assault and battery of this poor woman. Anyway, while disturbing, that did not amount to sex trafficking, the defense said. But prosecutors in their final arguments tore to Combs' team, who said they had contoured the facts endlessly. In his mind, he was untouchable. Prosecutor Maureen Comey told the court. Convenient. The defendant never thought that the women he abused would have the courage to speak out loud what he had done to them. Well, a lot of fucking good that did, right? I hope the judge puts him under the jail for 20 years. Here's an interesting op-ed in the New York Post, how the feds flubbed it with Combs, and he's sure to end up a martyr now. Yeah, that's the other part. He's gonna somehow, because there's people celebrating this, that he only, that there are actually people who think this is a good thing. Not a lot. And I'll tell you what, almost no women, which is good. Good, women. This is what I'm going to give you, women. I'm going to give the feminists this one, whatever. This is fucked up. Anyway, After nearly 2 months of jaw-dropping testimony, Sean Diddy Combs is skating on the most serious charges against him. It took jurors 14 hours of deliberation to deliver a profound statement. Federal prosecutors didn't provide enough evidence to convince them that Combs was a sex trafficker who sat atop a ruthless criminal organization. And maybe that's the part when they did the RICO charge. One of those charges was a RICO charge. I don't know, man. He's a one-man organization as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, they did get him on transporting individuals to engage in prostitution, but in my book, a 55-year-old Combs is still a monster of epic proportions. Fuck yeah, he is. To recap, the fallen hip-hop mogul is a despicable coward who terrorized and intimidated women using them as objects in his grotesque baby oil-soaked live-action pornos. And as video showed, he beat the living daylights out of a girlfriend who managed to get on his bad side. Why did he not get charged with that? I don't know. Was there a statute of limitations? Who knows? Not that Combs had a good side, despite a reputation that he tried to cultivate by crowning himself Hollywood's host with the most, throwing annual star-studded white parties for soulless celebrities, not to mention that all those fluffy interviews with hosts like Ellen DeGeneres and Jimmy Kimmel, and on the red carpet he walked wearing natty tailored tuxedos and flashy watches. He was nothing more than a lowlife cosplaying as an old-school gentleman. Well... Combs preyed on women who were much smaller than he and much more vulnerable, in some cases, women who depended on him for their career. But in trying to bring him down, federal prosecutors took a massive swing and a big fucking old miss, a rare one for the Southern District of New York. Did they really want to win this? As the trial played out, it felt like they were trying to make a 5-course feast out of the breadcrumbs and scraps. They overpromised and under-delivered. The trumped-up charges, no pun intended, initially brought by now ex-U.S. Attorney Damian Williams, who also included Mayor Eric Adams, and according to former colleagues seemed to harbor his own political ambitions, did not allow the full extent of Combs' depravity and violence become a matter of public record. There were more celebrity name drops than a Grammy ceremony, not to mention the most raw, lurid details about his bizarre bedroom proclivities, including drug-fueled sex marathons known as freak-offs, which are sadly now a regular part of the common vernacular. The most difficult memories to shake will be his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura's war stories, which she delivered on the stand while 9 months pregnant and nearly 7 years after Combs' vicious grip ended. She graphically described beatdowns from Combs that were so brutal she had to convalesce in private. One instance, Ventura said he kicked her in the face during a car ride from hell and later had her whisked away to a London hotel to recover despite her pleas to leave. It all made us for a sensational copy, salacious headlines, but it wasn't enough to put Combs away for good. Why? Explain it to me. And not to mention a circus. It's unclear what kind of time Combs will actually serve, but he's facing a mountain of civil suits. He deserves to sink into the shadows of society. However, he'll likely have achieved martyr status for some, all for being prosecuted and persecuted for his swinger lifestyle. Even outside the courthouse in downtown Manhattan, supporters celebrated by squirting baby oil at each other. Oh my God. I literally want to throw up at that idea. And motherfuckers. Fuck. There's some fucked up shit in the world. Good morning, Unacceptable Views. One of my other favorite Canadian. I'm just sickened by that. Oh my God. Given that his lone courtroom prop was the Bible, yep, that was a prop, all right. I'll predict he'll emerge at some point hawking the continuation humidity. Hawking fake contrition and humility like another commodity. Maybe he'll even wear a collection of avuncular crew neck sweaters he sported during the trial. He'll say that he mistreated and beat women because he suffered from the holy trinity of deflection, mental illness, sex, and a drug addiction. Yeah, he'll make some fucking excuses. It's not like much of this is a surprise. Combs has a track record of antisocial behavior dating back to an infamous 1999 nightclub shooting, which he was charged with weapon possession but later acquitted. His protege rapper Shine was convicted of the shooting and later claimed he was set up to be the fall guy. Yeah, it probably killed Biggie too. Or no, who was it that we thought killed Biggie? No, we thought Tupac. That's who we thought he killed. Anyway, For decades, Combs ruled an industry that not only ran on misogyny, but explicitly bragged about it against a backdrop of funky beat. There was a great irony to the start of Combs' downfall. Ventura had testified that he had threatened to release videos of her in freak-offs with male escorts, and she was petrified that he'd follow through with it. Ventura, who? Who the fuck's Ventura? Anyway, in the end, it was Combs who was done in by a video of him beating Ventura in 2016 as she tried to flee a freak-off in a Los Angeles hotel. Her 2023 lawsuit and allegations of sexual violence, which he settled a day later, set his legal troubles in motion. Then the damning video was leaked, bolstering her claims of brutality. I hope that video is his legacy and overshadows those not guilty verdicts. Spot on. That's the perfect editorial for that bullshit. All right, next. Thank you, Gunfox, again for dropping a Hamilton in the tip jar in this particular article, talking about that jet that the country of Qatar is sending our way. Unlike the hundreds of Boeing 747 jets still flown by airlines that use age-old 3.5 floppy disks for critical updates, the $400 million luxury 747 jet gifted by the generous Qatar royal family to the U.S. government updates its systems and navigations data wirelessly in minutes. Uh-oh. That makes me nervous. Hello, Selecta Boy. Yeah, boy. Is that a good or bad? Well, it's good that they don't use floppy disks still. Holy shit. Anyway, you'll be surprised to know that most Boeing 747s still in use today rely on 3.5-inch floppy disks, an outdated piece of technology, to load critical navigation updates. Okay, chat, if you're surprised by that, drop a yes. If you are not surprised, drop a no in the chat. Holy shit. I fly a lot too. I saw an acceptable view saying, so glad I don't fly. I do fly. I did not know that. Really? Okay. So anyway, it's crazy to think that an aircraft that was in production still in 2023 and is widely used by airlines and shipping companies uses a technology that became obsolete decades ago. However, the ultra-luxurious Boeing 747-8 gifted by the Qatar royal family to the U.S. government represents a dramatic shift in how these iconic jets are maintained and updated. While the majority of 747-400s still use floppy disks that hold only 1.44 megabytes and require, oh my God, 1.44 megabytes. I have to laugh because my first Mac, my first personal computer, whatever, I think the hard drive was like maybe 50 megabytes. I mean, that's we're talking really early computer technology. Anyway, the floppy disks that hold only 1.44 megabytes and require a technician to physically load a dozen of them every 28 days. Update your fucking technology. Oh my God. I'm afraid to fly. Holy shit. This aircraft take 28 every 28 days they have to be updated. And then it takes 6 or 7 of them, whatever, to update. The new version is built with something far more advanced and efficient. This aircraft, often referred to as the last of its kind, comes factory fitted with a Teledyne Controls Network File Server, or NFS1, and its companion network extension device, a system that makes the old floppy-based updates ritual obsolete. I should hope so! Who the hell even makes floppy disk anymore? Holy shit. Holy, God. The NFS1 is a compact digital service that connects directly to the jet's internal Ethernet network with a 64 gigabyte solid state drive and support for even 64 gigabyte is embarrassing to me. My little personal computer has 256. Oh my God. No, I have a 500 gig solid state drive. And this cheap, that's not even cheap, but whatever. And support for the ARINC 615A data loading protocol. The NFS allows for rapid and secure software updates across the aircraft's various avionics systems. Airlines or operators download the required navigation database software package onto a secure laptop each month. When the plane is on the ground, a technician either plugs that laptop into an external Ethernet port or transmit the update wirelessly using Teledyne's wireless ground link. I'm not excited that they can do it wirelessly. Can someone fuck with that? From away from the plane? Maybe not. Who knows? But still. So anyway, this is playing something. At least I'm not shaking, but hello, Linda Hunter. What's up? And TC, I see you popped in here. Anyway, am I afraid to fly now? Not gonna fly now. Not so high now. Makes me nervous. Okay. Rolling Stone magazine is trending. Rolling Stone magazine. Apparently they have an article about Zorhan Mamdani. And of course, in the suck up thing that Rolling Stone does, by now the waters have been thoroughly muddied with misinformation about Mamdani, much of it characterized by Islamophobic hate. Oh, you know that's of course in the immortal words of Cenk Uygur, of course. See, because if you talk about the Islamophobic aspect of what Mamdani's about, then you don't have to talk about him being a socialist or possibly just full-blown communist, since he talks about seizing the means of production and government-owned grocery stores and, government-built housing. By the way, speaking of government-built housing, let me just stop this for a second. Because this is very interesting. If you ever get a chance to go to Budapest, Hungary, okay, there was something very stark that I noticed. We went on this cruise a few years ago up the river, Danube, whatever, and we were in Budapest, Hungary. And it was fascinating because Budapest, in World War II, about half of the city was destroyed. Or, excuse me, Budapest is two cities. One on one side of the river is Buda, on the other side is Pest, right? But about half the city was destroyed, right? And then Budapest became part of the coalition that was behind the Iron Curtain, the USSR sort of, right? And so when you go through Budapest, it's very interesting when you now the current last couple whatever parliaments and administration has been doing a lot to restore old Budapest. But if you're there in Budapest, you'll notice some very stark differences between buildings, because there's sometimes these beautiful, well done, ornate, lovely old buildings, right? Or they have also these giant buildings that look like they were poured cement and they look like prisons, but they're actually apartment buildings, right? Because when the Soviets occupied or had Budapest under the Iron Curtain, they built all this old socialist, communist, whatever housing that it just looked like giant slabs of cement. No character whatsoever. And so you're driving through Budapest and one building might be this just ugly old piece of cement, and then you'll have a really nice old building that didn't get destroyed during the war. And so when I think of Mamdani talking about building housing in New York City, of course, basically he's talking about building the projects again, which that worked out so well. I swear, it's what it's going to look like. What New York's going to look like is like kind of like Budapest, although a lot of the steel and whatever that's built in New York looks pretty cool now. But I'm just saying, it's going to be some ugly shit. I guarantee it. So anyway, Rolling Stone decided that they were going to firmly plant their lips around Mamdani's penis and go to work. And so here's, they decided to debunk all the BS about Zohran Mamdani. In securing the Democratic nomination for mayor of New York, the young Muslim progressive has faced a tidal wave of hateful misinformation. No, not hateful misinformation. They've been playing video of him saying shit that we're going, oh, you're a communist, asshole. Anyway, so let's see. What are they debunking? Oh, you can't even read the article. I didn't even realize that. I never looked at it. Anyway, they're kissing Mamdani's ass. Let me see if I can just I'll put an archived version up that you can look at later. Oops, there we go. I think that'll work. Oh no, that didn't do it. Did that do it? There we go. Let's try that. Yeah, here we go. Let's see. Did anyone archive this yet? Probably. Oh God, I hate when they. Oh, do the picture of the bicycles. Well, which one are you counting as the bicycle? The person riding it, or let's see if that works. Nope, motorcycles. Okay, let's try this one. Let's see how many I have to do in this one. Is that gonna work? Oh, son of a bitch. Bus. Okay, bus. There we go. Hey, I'm not a robot. Okay, this was archived. If you want to read Rolling Stone kissing Mamdani's ass, here. Oh, but there are some rumors that are stupid. Like, for example, people saying that he's in the country illegally. No, he's not in the country illegally. He's the they did move here, but whatever. And what else did they say that are stupid? He does not have any connection to 9/11 terrorists or jihadist terrorism. Okay, that might be a kind of a misdirection of what people are saying about him. The fact that they're concerned about his forcing of Islam in New York City, but anyway, no, he doesn't have any terrorism behind him. Oh, and oh my God. I'm looking at who they're saying. Who says so? Nancy Mace, Donald Trump. New Yorkers were voting for another 9/11. Oh, because... Okay, well, no, all the liberal elites, though, they love him because the working class didn't vote for this asshole. Anyway, if you want to read the article, it's in the links. I don't even care. By the way, speaking of Mamdani, though, he says... Apparently, there's a bill that he proposed as part of the city council or something. Mamdani bill would fine New Yorkers $1 million for donating to unauthorized nonprofits in Israel. What? How you're going to fine someone for FTG Mamdani, by the way. You can write that out yourself. Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic candidate in New York City's mayoral race, sponsored a bill that would fine Jewish groups at least $1 million for donating to unauthorized charities operating in Israel. Now, what would those unauthorized charities be? I'm curious. Mamdani first introduced a bill known as Not on Our Dime. Wait a minute. It wouldn't be... Whoa. Not on our dime? I'm sorry, I didn't realize that Mamdani was part of a Jewish group. What? He said, Mamdani first introduced the bill known as Not on Our Dime, ending New York's funding of Israeli Settler Violence Act in 2023 to block donations to groups that he accused of funding the expulsion and dispossession of Palestinians in the occupied territories. The bill is backed by New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who endorsed Mamdani and appeared at his recent rallies alongside Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. So it's all the communists in one place. There you go. Mamdani, a self-proclaimed Democratic socialist, wrote the legislation to target not-for-profit corporations that engage in unauthorized support of Israel's settlement activity. What fucking business is that of yours? Now, I'm not necessarily... I don't know enough about the groups he's talking about to be for or against them, but what does he have to do? Are you kidding me? The legislation would ban Jewish synagogues and charities from donating to groups such as United Hatzalah and Zaka, nonprofit groups that specialize in emergency response and treatment of victims of terrorism, according to the Jerusalem Post. The bill would also ban donations to the One Israel Fund, which focuses on the safety and well-being of the 500,000 residents of Judea and Samaria, including providing medical, educational, recreational, preventative, security, and other forms of communal and social welfare. He just hates the people. He hates the brethren. That's all there is to it. He hates the brethren. Okay, moving on. Oh, by the way, another editorial. I'm not going to read it, but how lefty nonprofits and taxpayer money lifted Mom Dammy's campaign. What? They pilfered money from the nonprofits? I'm shocked that any Democrat would find a way to do that. New Yorkers are under the false impression that the taxpayer-funded city campaign finance board is leveling the playing field to make Gotham elections fair. Just the opposite is true. The CFB is actually doling out obscene amounts of money to tilt the scales for left-wing candidates, including Democratic mayoral nominee Zohran Mamdani. In November's elections, anything like 2021's taxpayers will shell out more than $100 per vote cast, while the board kneecaps Mamdani's moderate rivals. The CFB, an independent agency that was formed in 1988, gives political newbies a fair shot against established polls. However, the idea was to match small private contributions dollar for dollar with taxpayer funds. Since then, the match has increased sharply. Now it's a staggering 8-1 in the primary and another 8-1 in the general election. So they don't love the playing field. They've tipped the scales. You can read more about that later. It'll be in the links. About the big, beautiful bill. Okay. I'm going to finish up with this, and not really quickly because I got a lot here, so bear with me. But there are going to be extra articles open in the links. Here we go. Big, beautiful bill. Finally at 3 a.m., I think, this morning Eastern time, they passed the bill. And a lot of people are hung up or bitching, whether you'd like to talk about it or not, about the Medicaid thing, right? People are really mad about the Medicaid thing. In fact, they're saying, oh, you're going to end Medicaid. You're going to put people in the streets. You're going to close rural hospitals. People are going to die. Because that's their favorite line, is that people are going to die. Anyway, here's one Congress critter defending some of the Medicaid cuts. And I haven't seen this. I'm just going to play it because it said that's what he's doing. So let's hear it.
What we are saying is that if you are able-bodied and working age, you need to be either working or seeking work in order to receive Medicaid. Yeah. That is common sense. In other words, if you're a 32-year-old guy, you cannot sit on your couch and smoke weed all day and expect taxpayers to fit your Medicaid bills. That's wrong. That's something the majority of Americans agree with Republicans on. We're also saying that if you're an illegal alien and you shouldn't be in this country to begin with, you should be deported, you shouldn't be getting taxpayer-subsidized Medicaid.
Now, what will the left tell you on that point? They're not getting Medicaid. They're not getting any government benefits. Okay, let's just analyze that. See, what they do. Now, first of all, if you don't think getting housing paid for by even the local government has anything to do with the federal government benefits, hello, Renee Mayette, you'd be sadly mistaken. So, for example, in California, when the Trump administration said, hey, we're not going to allow illegal aliens, people who crossed our border illegally. That's what I mean by illegal aliens. Okay, I'm not disparaging them as like they're from outer space, but that's the technical term that the United States government uses. When they said they're no longer going to allow Medicaid benefits to illegal alien, lo and behold, oh my God, California took hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens off their whatever program that is basically funded by Medicare. Oh, what do you mean they weren't using Medicaid? Yes, they were. They just use it through the state-funded programs. And so that's what California had to do and several other states. So anyway, yes, they do actually take Medicaid funds just through the state-administered programs that the federal government replenishes into Medicaid.
That's what we're looking at. We're looking at expanding eligibility checks so that whenever somebody shouldn't be on Medicaid anymore, that we take them off. These are the common sense solutions.
By the way, they're not dumping children and single mothers with children, and the old people have Medicaid supplement. They're not taking it away from them. You know, that's the thing. They're saying, oh, we're going to take everyone off Medicaid. No. 14 million people are going to lose their health care. No. Not if they're eligible for it. But the people who are not eligible for it are not going to get it. I got a story about that too, by the way. We'll get to it.
That we're putting into this big, beautiful bill. And these are the things that Democrats are against.
Now, I'm not excited about the big, beautiful bill. I'm just telling you. They need to cut spend. I said they need to cut spending across the board. But anyway, that's Medicaid is the biggest thing that people are bitching about, okay? I'm a conservative, and I'll be the first to say that Representative Nancy Mace showing up to vote for the big, beautiful bill wearing pajamas is stupid. I want action results, not whatever this is, period. Okay, she did some video of her showing up in pajamas to vote for the bill. That's dumb. Now, this is a big, beautiful bill. That's Bill. Who's that guy? That's the Belichick? Yeah, anyway. K-Shaw, how you doing? Good morning. Okay, so now, a lot of people yesterday were also bitching about this Republican representative. His name is Brian Fitz, and he held, lots of different Republicans were holding up the bill, because they had to really scratch and claw to get this thing passed. And apparently at some point in the night, Representative Brian Fitz was voting no on the bill because he wanted more taxpayer dollars to go to Ukraine. He got savaged, man. He just got savaged all night long. Anyway, hello. Thank you, Advocacy. I'll be dropping a small bullet. The tip jar says, as long as it doesn't become, we know you broke every bone in your body and have terminal brain cancer, but you can still answer phones hands-free to get off. So get off your ass. Yeah, I don't think it's like that. That is funny, though. No, I'm hoping it's not like that. Anyway, now, here's some of the things that were related to that. Trump White House promises massive economic growth in the final push to pass the big, beautiful bill. President Donald Trump and his team are racing to get the one big, beautiful bill on the president's desk, which they are going to see it pretty soon. Pushing a message of economic growth in the final days. Nobody wants to talk about growth, which will be the primary reason that the big, beautiful bill will be one of the most successful pieces of legislation ever passed. The president said on Wednesday morning on a Truth Social post. He loves that shit, man, and they just magnify it all the time. This growth has already begun at levels never seen before. Trillions of dollars now being invested in the USA, more than ever before. You know, he talks in superlatives, but I just, just the fact that our July 4th holiday meal is actually less than it was the year before for the first time in a very long time. I don't know if that ever happened before. That's a good sign. The fact that when I paid for gas yesterday in Minnesota in the middle of the summer and it was $2.85 a gallon, when a year ago it was $3.40 a gallon, I think that's a pretty good thing. People are, I noticed that. Now, it's not the $1.98 that Trump said the other day, but, when I was in Iowa, I paid $2.78, and that's pretty good. I mean, I'd much rather be like $1.98 like Trump said, but whatever. It doesn't cost me $80 to fill my F-150 anymore. That's a good thing. Because I always fill it at 3/4 of a tank. So if you're wondering, because I have a 33-gallon tank. But anyway, yeah. So I'm noticing that the price of eggs are down. People are bitching about eggs all the beginning of this year. Price of eggs are down. So some of it's good. But anyway, he says likewise, he added $100 billion in tariffs are filling up the coffers of the Treasury. The tariff money has already started arriving and setting new records. We are growing our way out of the sleepy Joe Biden mess that he and Democrats left us, and it is happening much faster than anyone thought possible. Now, again, he's talking in superlatives, but I'm sure that it's trending in the correct way. And if that's true, I'm happy with it. That's what I voted for. Now, you know me, I like what the president does. I don't always like what he says because it's not my style, okay? But I like what he does. And it seems like, but I'm not thrilled with this bill because, again, I don't think they cut spending enough. I think they should have cut spending across the board and just said, hey, department heads, figure it out. You're getting 1% less every year for the next 4 years. And then we'll talk about it once we're in, surplus spending again. But until then, you're less. There is plenty. I guarantee you, if you went through every department of the U.S. government, like they started to with Doge, and Doge is still working, even though Elon Musk is not part of it, I'm 100% confident that you could find at least 1% out of every single budget you could get rid of. The problem is, their idea is, we spend every dime that they allocate to us, and then we say we need more next year because that's just how we know we'll get more. If we spend it all, we're like, we ran out of money. No, you should get a bonus for sending money back into the Treasury. Anyway, so Trump thinks growth is going to save and make this big, beautiful bill work. Hey, here's hoping. I would love to see a surplus coming up. Doesn't sound like it's going to happen, though. That bothers me. But now, another Republican here is Richard Hudson said Republicans were fighting to prevent the largest tax hike in a generation. That is true. If they had allowed the current tax reform from back when Trump was president last time, it was set to expire, okay? And if it expires, it would have reverted back to old tax rates, which would have been largest tax hike in a long time, okay? Here it is. If Democrats get their way, your taxes are going up a lot. That's not speculation. That's the reality if we let the 2017 Trump's tax cuts expire. Those cuts passed under President Trump and a Republican Congress gave relief to millions of middle-class families, small business owners, and working parents. But unless we act, they will sunset in 2026, leading to the largest tax increase in generation. The One Big Beautiful Bill fights back. House Republicans are working to extend the Trump tax cuts, protect middle-class families, and expand the child tax credit so more parents can keep more of what they earn. So that's his sell, right? Now, not everyone is happy, but this is an interesting way to put it in the American Thinker. This guy says Congress surrenders to Trump. Now that doesn't, surrender doesn't sound positive. I mean, Trump persuades, Trump does this, whatever. Something profound is occurring. Unnoticed on July 1st, 2025, the first day of the second half of this year, as we begin the year-long countdown to celebrate our semi-quincentennial. Is that it? Semi-quincentennial? Anyway, and enter the second phase of our history, House Speaker Mike Johnson released a statement, quote, "The House will work quickly to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill that enacts President Trump's full America First agenda by the 4th of July. The American people gave us a clear mandate, and after 4 years of Democratic failure, we intend to deliver without delay. Republicans are elected to do exactly what this bill achieves: secure the border, make tax cuts permanent, unleash American energy dominance, restore peace through strength, cut wasteful spending, and return to a government that puts America first. This bill is President Trump's agenda, and we are making it law. House Republicans are ready to finish the job and put the One Big Beautiful Bill on President Trump's desk in time for Independence Day." Now, this bill is President Trump's agenda. Johnson acknowledged surrender and the developing political reality remaining operative for the remainder of America's history. The legislature is now under executive control. That's not good, if the way that sounds, does it? That doesn't sound good. That sounds terrible. I certainly don't want that from a Democratic administration. But again, presidents and Congress both can submit bills, it's just, or budgets, whatever, and this time the president's budget kind of wins, right? With Congress somewhat paralyzed, executive orders currently exceed legislative output by orders of magnitude. This isn't a congressional bill, but a presidential one, something furthest from what the founders designed. Yeah, am I allowed to be concerned about that? Am I allowed to be concerned about that? Because again, this is kind of the Robert Byrd rule of political ideas, where Robert Byrd had a really dumb idea, and they were going to change the filibuster rules to allow for allow for a majority vote on certain types of budget bills, and then they were going to try to dump the filibuster. Remember? And I said, if you do that, the Republicans are going to use that too. You can't just pretend that just Democrats will do it, because if you do it, then the next people will do it, and they'll be like doing it a little harder, and then that so on and so forth. Well, is this good or not that the president has this much power? I'm not going no kings at all. I'm just saying we got to be wary of putting too much power within just the executive branch. Anyway, in the final days of 2024, Johnson's prospects appeared grim for re-election as the House Speaker. The GOP rhinos and MAGA wings were unhappy with him. Fallout from Trump's hostile takeover of the party, half-lives of Republican speakers occupying that radioactive seat have lately been brief. Kevin McCarthy, after requiring 5 days and 15 ballots to be elected Speaker, lasted 269 days. Johnson appeared about to suffer the similar fate. After McCarthy's ouster, House Republicans were speakerless for over 3 weeks until Johnson finally prevailed with the deck stacked against him. Late last year, Johnson made the Mar-a-Lago pilgrimage over the holidays and emerged with Trump's endorsement. The order issued forth from Palm Beach. Johnson will be reelected Speaker and party infighting will cease. The party infighting shall cease. I shouldn't have said it that way. I should never make that illusion. Anyway, oh, there we go. Trump undoubtedly extracted concessions from Johnson in exchange. The only Washington job worse than Johnson's is the House Minority Leader, poor Hakeem Jeffries. Aww. One faction of the party engaged in a catfight between traditionalists and the Young Turks. The party that fired on Fort Sumter now turns its guns inward. The world's oldest political party, founded to support slavery and evict Native Americans from their homelands, won't survive long into America's second act. Only last month, Jeffries managed to evict DNC Vice Chair David Hogg. And David Hogg's making videos about it, too. He's out there telling young people, fuck these old fuckers. We need more David Hoggs, which would be hilarious. Anyway, now he faces the Mamdani curse, the second coming of Sanders' curse. Republicans are unifying while Democrats implode. Michael Goodwin points out Mamdani represents Democrats' perfection of the art of losing by winning. So anyway, obviously, whatever is going on in Trump land, it's worse over in Democrat land. There's a lot more to this article, but I wanted to get that much out. All right, Medicaid. Everyone's talking about Medicaid. Here's here we go. Scott Jennings giving his 2 cents on This Is CNN. Here's Scott Jennings.
Debt and the deficit are the two existential problems that are facing this nation.
Which no Democrat gave a shit about deficits 7 months ago.
And if you don't address them, our children are going to pay.
Hilarious.
And
no shit. Oh my. You're just figuring that out?
Set the country on a cliff to oblivion. I mean, that was the argument of Republicans. Where has that gone?
I'm curious too.
Well, I don't think these things are mutually exclusive. I think you can cut taxes or make the tax cuts permanent and add other tax cuts for working class Americans. I think you can do necessary welfare reform. I think
and
you
cut
can invest
spending
in the southern border and border security, which this bill is doing.
Spending.
And then you can also pay attention to spending. Now, ultimately, of the federal budget right now, like 21% of it is discretionary and the rest is just mandatory spending. So you got to tackle that down the road. This isn't a spending bill. It's a reconciliation bill, and it's largely a tax bill that makes the tax cuts permanent, adds tax cuts for working class Americans.
So now you got to do spending bills that cut spending.
There's obviously going to be a big debate about this. I mean, there are like almost 5 million able-bodied people on Medicaid who simply choose not to work. They spend 6 hours a day socializing and watching television. And if you can't get off grandma's couch and work, I don't want to pay for your welfare.
I don't know where you're getting those numbers.
CBO.
Congressional Budget Office. That's
where. Regardless, I mean,
regardless, this kicks 17
that you just cited.
This kicks.
All right, so anyway, thank you, Avocados Diablo. Another small bullet in the tip jar says, we need more David Hogg. Are they calling for more school shooting? Since that is his origin story after all, and I assume a second one would require a new school shooting. Yeah, I don't think that's what they're asking for, and I don't think that's what David asked for, but thank you for sponsoring the show and dropping another few bucks in the tip jar. Greatly appreciated, sir. Always appreciated. All right, I'm running out of time here. So anyway, lots of people bitching about the Medicaid thing. And I unfortunately don't have other videos to show you for that. I do, but I don't. By the way, speaking of Medicaid, the Trump Justice Department exposes $14 billion with a B dollars in Medicare and Medicaid fraud. I think what do they do? Pam Bondi is indicted 324 people on Medicaid fraud. The Department of Justice announced the results of its annual healthcare fraud takedown this week, in which they charged 324 defendants with $14.6 billion with a B dollars of medical fraud. Defendants include 96 licensed medical professionals in 50 federal districts and 12 states' attorneys general's offices across the state. With more than $13 billion in fraud uncovered, this is the largest takedown for this initiative to date. The FBI Director Kash Patel said this initiative identified $2.75 billion in fraud in 2024 and $2.5 billion in 2023. The government seized over $245 million in cash, luxury vehicles, cryptocurrencies, and other assets. In addition, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services prevented over $4 billion from being paid in response to false and fraudulent claims, and that it suspended or revoked the billing privileges of 205 providers in the months leading up to the takedown. Civil charges and settlements amount to another $48.5 million. So, for example, busted fraud schemes involved identity theft, fraud, ruined care, prescription opioid trafficking, and fake telemedicine claims. One transnational criminal organization alone was responsible for $10.6 billion of the $14.6 billion. So about 2/3 of it. The network of foreign individuals strategically brought dozens of medical supply companies located across the United States, then used the stolen identities of over 1 million Americans to submit fraudulent Medicare claims for urinary catheters and other durable medical equipment. That $10.5 billion in catheters? Holy shit. Or I should say holy piss. Anyway, yeah, sorry I didn't have that on there. There's a shot for AD. All right, I gotta go, but let's see what else is on the links here. Hakeem Jeffries was trending. Oh my God. Hakeem Jeffries was against the filibuster. Now he's abusing it. Here's the clip of Hakeem Jeffries that I wanted to play. Hang on. Because J.D. Vance says he just received a text from a Republican congressman. I was undecided on the bill, but then I watched Hakeem Jeffries' performance, and now it's a firm yes. What does that mean? Well, let's see what Hakeem Jeffries did. I'm sure he called somebody racist.
Effectively, in Medicaid as we know it, gut parts of the Affordable Care Act.
Does it?
What you essentially
yeah.
are doing by stripping health care away.
Okay, I just have to say hello. Anna Lynn, what's up? Nice to see you back. I'm sorry, but y'all realize my nickname for Hakeem Jeffries, right? Turnip. Listen to him speak here, and then we're gonna get out of here. Listen to Hakeem Jeffries here. He has the personality of a turnip.
Effectively.
Not the personality. He has the charisma of a turnip. Now that I've said that, watch carefully. Hakeem Jeffries has the charisma of a turnip. Apply that thought to your brain right now and listen.
In Medicaid as we know it, gut parts of the Affordable Care Act. What you essentially...
I'm surprised the Democrats behind him aren't yawning.
By stripping health care away from the American people.
He has to look at it. Okay, so anyway, yeah. Well, there you go. I'm voting for it then. So anything. What does this say? Let's see. Is this the same thing? Oh.
Congress on this glorious... And Mr. Speaker, we want no part of it, which is why we're fighting so hard to stop it.
Okay.
Serving in the United States Congress on this glorious floor, having to be part of a crime scene.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, you slay queen. Anyway, all right. That's got to be it because I'm out of time, guys. So thank you for joining me today. There's lots of stuff in the links and also the aggregator. Oh my gosh, it's loaded today. I'm telling you. So, but that's all I can do because I'm. Wait a minute. He is a Wish Reggie Miller. Oh my God, I never even thought of that. He does kind of have a Reggie Miller look to him, doesn't he? All right, let me. I got to clean this up here. There we go. All right. That's it for today, guys. Here's the links for today. Copy, paste, and I got to go. Here are today's links from the show. I'll put them in the description too. That's it. You all have a great day. And someone asked if I'm doing a show tomorrow. It's very questionable. I got some stuff I got to get done tomorrow because we have to go to a funeral in another town Saturday, so I might not be able to. But if I do, watch your notifications. I usually do a 4th of July show though. Maybe I'll do a short one. Who knows? But I'll definitely be back Monday. So anyway, I gotta go. Thank you. My name is Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.